Welcome to Fantasy Football Brotherhood. I'm going to talk today about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers having the number one overall pick and the fact that they drafted the most infamous player in the draft with JAMEIS Winston. I wanted to talk about them in terms of their fantasy relevance. First, let's talk about JAMEIS Winston. In redraft leagues, he's probably not going to have much relevance. As a matter of fact, I would say in terms of rookie quarterbacks for next year, I don't even think that he will be the highest scoring rookie quarterback. Probably going to be Mariota because Mariota gets rushing yards. Mariota's probably going to deliver a couple, maybe even 3 rushing touchdowns or more. Whereas JAMEIS Winston doesn't necessarily have the scrambling ability that Mariota has. So when you talk about in terms of fantasy points, it's probably going to be Mariota who answers the bell in terms of the best rookie quarterback in fantasy relevance. When I look at the Tampa Bay draft, however, whenever I look at it, I say the biggest winner is Charles Smith. And the reason why is you look in the second round, they drafted 2 pretty well-liked offensive linemen. They got a big offensive tackle as well as a really athletic big center. The guy showed out really well not only on tape but as well as at the Senior Bowl. So there is a lot to like about what they did in terms of their offensive line. Another thing is Lovie Smith seems to think that he has another Matt Forte with Smith. And he's going to give Smith every opportunity to be that Forte type guy. You know, a guy who can block, who can receive, as well as run the ball. So I would definitely say he's the winner. Now, whenever I look at the wide receivers and the passing game of Tampa Bay, JAMEIS Winston, I have my reservations about how he's going to turn out within the next 5 years. So I'm kind of on a wait and see in terms of dynasty mode for him. I mean, would I take a chance on him? I probably would, but I certainly have my reservations. In terms of redraft, I probably just let somebody else draft him. The thing that I do like about JAMEIS Winston, he has a lot of weapons around him, especially when you talk about Mike Evans in his second year. You have a really good veteran with Vincent Jackson, has a very big athletic tight end with Seferian-Jenkins. In terms of the passing game, though, I look at it as the wide receivers. I'm probably a little bit, when it comes to Vincent Jackson, he's a year older. He now has a rookie quarterback who doesn't have any NFL experience. So I would err on the caution of Jackson. Not saying that I wouldn't draft him, but it definitely depends on what round we're looking at and what else is available. Mike Evans had a really great rookie year. Just a little bit over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. The thing about it is, here he is. He's a second-year receiver with a rookie quarterback. I expect him to have a similar type year, maybe even a little bit better year, but probably not going to be much better, if any better, than what he currently did. And the reason why is, I mean, again, rookie quarterback, you certainly have to take that into consideration, even if his name is JAMEIS Winston. The guy that I think that really won out in this passing game is Seferian-Jenkins. This is a big athletic tight end. When you study tape of how JAMEIS Winston likes to throw the ball, he loves throwing the ball high. He likes it for his receivers to go up and get it, which works well for his 2 outside guys as well as this guy over the middle. However, I think that what we're going to see, especially out of a rookie quarterback, is he's going to rely on his tight end a lot. And he has a really good tight end. Seferian-Jenkins is a very athletic, very sure-handed tight end. I think we're definitely going to see him receive the most boost from the moves that were made in this draft. Just kind of touching again, to further down the line in terms of the Tampa Bay draft. They also got a couple wide receivers. Those guys are going to be more development guys. Again, when you talk about the, Evans on the outside, Vincent Jackson on the outside, Seferian-Jenkins, as a tight end, any other wide receiver at this point is going to be a 4th option, maybe even 5th option when you take into account the running back situation. I think what we're going to see, if you're already talking trade, depending on how your league works, if you're already talking trade about certain running backs that are currently available or certain running backs you have on your roster, if you're looking at the offensive lineman situation, you're saying, give me Doug Martin, give me Doug Martin. The fact of the matter is, he's probably not going to be in Tampa Bay at the beginning of the year. If there are any trade offers out there right now for Doug Martin, I would probably just say let's wait and see. Even as a trader, I mean, if you want to see where Doug Martin ends up before you think about what is he worth, unless you can get a deal that somebody's willing to oversell on him or overbuy on him, then at that point, you might want to go ahead and make a move. However, I would wait to see what Doug Martin's value is based on where he's going to be when the season starts versus where he currently is at right now. At Tampa Bay, he is going to be the second fiddle to Charles Smith by the end of the year.